Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivar Hari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivar Hari. Shodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Shodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Monatira Vanachari. Monatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivar Hari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivar Hari. Shodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Shodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Monatira Vanachari. Monatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivar Hari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivar Hari. Shodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Shodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Monatira Vanachari. Monatira Vanachari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're on Canto 3, Chapter 25, starting at text 23. Is that correct? Okay. The glories of devotional service. Mad Ashraya Kata Mishtaha Jambavati Katanyati Cha tapanti vividhas tapa naitan madgata chitasa madasya kata mistasa Simvanti katayanti cha tapanti vidihastapa naitam agata cetasa madashraya katamistra shinvati Yayanti cha tapanti vedastapa naitamagata chetsasa madashraya katamishta shinvanti katanyanti cha tapanti vidyastapa nayantama gata chetsa
Madashraya katamishta Madashraya katamishta
Madashraya katamishta
Shinvanti katayanti cha
Shinvanti katayanti cha
Panti vividhastapa
Panti vividhastapa
Naitan magata cetasa
Naitan magata cetasa
Madashraya katamishta
Madashraya katamishta
Shinvanti katayanti cha
Shinvanti katayanti cha
Panti vividhastapa
Panti vividhastapa
Naitan madgata chetasaha
Naitan magata cetasa
Madashraya katamishta
Madashraya katamishta
Shinvanti katayanti cha
Shinvanti katayanti cha
Panti vividhastapa
Panti vividhastapa
Naitan adgata chetasaha
Naitan magata cetasa
Madashraya katamishta
Madashraya katamishta
Shinvanti katayanti cha
Shinvanti katayanti cha
Tapanti vividhastapa
Tapanti vividhastapa
Naitan madgata chetasaha
Naitan magata cetasa
Madashraya katamishta
Madashraya katamishta
Shinvanti katayanti cha
Shinvanti katayanti cha
Tapanti vividhastapa
Tapanti vividhastapa
Naitan magata chetasaha
Naitan madgata chetasaha
Madashraya katamishta Shinvanti katayanti cha Tapanti vividhastapa Naitan magata cetasaha
Ayo, ayo. Can I chant? Please. Thank you. Thanks.
Madashraya katamishta
Madashraya katamishta
Shinvanti katayanti cha
Shinvanti katayanti cha
Tapanti vividhastapa Naitan magata chetasaha
Naitan magata cetasa
Madashraya katamishta
Madashraya katamishta
Shinvanti katayanti cha
Shrinvanti Katayanti Cha
Tapanti Vividastapa
Tapanti Vidastava
Naitan Madgata Chetasaha
Naitan Magata Chetasaha.
Thanks.
Online.
We can go to other end of study. Madashaya Katamishta
Inventive Petayanti Cha
Shrimanti Katayanti Cha
Vividastapa
Tapanti
Vidastapa
Tanmadgata Chetasa
Aitan Magata Chetasaha. Other side, Mangala.
Madashraya Katamrishta
Madashaya Katamishta
Shunvanti Kathayanti Cha
Shrinvanti Katayanti Cha
Tapanti Vividastapa
Tapanti Vidastava
Natan Madgata Chetasaha.
Aitan Magata Chetasaha. Oh, that's everyone.
Mat
Madashaya
about me.
about me.
Kataha
Kataha
stories.
stories.
Vishta
Mishta
delightful. Shrinvanti
Shrimanti
they hear.
Kahir
Katayanti
Katayanti
they chant.
Vishant
Cha
Cha
and Tapanti
Tapanti
inflict suffering.
inflict suffering
Vivida
Vivida
various.
various
Tapa
Tapa
the material miseries.
material miseries.
Na
No,
do not.
do not.
Itam
Itam
unto
unto
them.
them.
Matkata
Matkata
fixed on me.
fixed on me
Chetasa
Chetasaha
their thoughts.
thoughts.
Translation report by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Engage in chanting and hearing about me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The sadhus do not suffer from material miseries because they are always filled with my thoughts, my pastimes, and activities. Report. There are multifarious miseries in material existence, those pertaining to the body and the mind, those imposed by other living entities, and those imposed by natural disturbances. But a sadhu is not disturbed by such mystical conditions because his mind is always with Krishna consciousness, and thus he does not like to talk about anything but the activities of the Lord. Maharaj Ambarisha did not speak of anything but the pastimes of the Lord. But Chamsi Vaikuntha Gunavardhani, Bhagavad 9.4.18, he engaged his words only in glorification of the Supreme Personality Godhead. Sadhus are always interested in hearing about the activities of the Lord or his devotees. Since they are filled with Krishna consciousness, they are forgetful of the material miseries. Ordinary conditioned souls, being forgetful of the activities of the Lord, are always full of anxieties and material tribulations. On the other hand, since the devotees always engage in the topics of the Lord, they are forgetful of the miseries of material existence. Hare Krishna. So, Danavar Goswami, if you have any words of wisdom, please share with us. And, of course, my senior devotees, please, if you have any insights, always be happy to hear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Engaged constantly in chanting and hearing about me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The sadhus do not suffer from material miseries because they are always filled with thoughts of my pastimes and activities. The mind. Mind is probably one of the biggest obstacles that we, of the miseries that we can come across. Kornitai ki jai. We are continually trying to, protect ourselves from the sufferings of the material world, for the physical conditions, like, being too hot or too cold, not being, being too hungry or being too full. It's just all these, having the right smells around you, just all these physical things that are around you. But the hardest one to control is the mind. That can give people the most suffering. Even if the environment is perfect, say you have everything in place. You have name, fame, prestige, wealth. You have family. You have everything in place, but the mind. The mind, if the mind is not tamed, you can be suffering all kinds of miseries. That's where it's important, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chanting these names of the Lord, making it become part of yourself. This is not only just an exercise in the morning, not just a prayer that we do in the morning, but it's a training of the mind. Because we're trying to get control of the mind. We turn our mind from our worst enemy, which is causing us so much distress. Because I was saying, we could be in the perfect environment, have the most perfect things, but we could be totally miserable because of our mind and what it can do to us. Thinking about all the past things that have happened, things that can cause us trouble in the future. Oh man, did I pay my bill this next week? Oh man, did I remember to call my mom on Mother's Day? Oh geez, all these things that keep coming up, in our mind. That's where the japa meditation is so important, because we're training our mind during japa meditation. When we're training our mind, when we're training to maintain our focus, the focus of our awareness on the sound of the mantra alone, nothing else. It sounds so easy, but it's so tricky with a mind that is rebellious, because the mind will find all kinds of ways, to try to distract you. Well, while I chant, I should be thinking about these things. No, you got to always pull yourself away from the thinking and back to the mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Oh, what did I get my laundry done yesterday? Nope. I got distracted again. I got to take it back to the mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare. I wonder what the weather is going to be like tomorrow. Oh, I'm distracted again. I got to take it back to the mantra. You got to do this over and over and over. You got to be in the present moment, chanting the Maha Mantra, and bring yourself back to the sound of it each and every time your mind distracts you. Each and every time your mind tries to wander. You got to be aware of this. And only through time and through practice do you time and practice, are you able to get some sort of control over it? I mean, even to this day, I still get distracted while chanting japa, but it's becoming less and less. And when these thoughts do occur, it's not so disturbing, because I'm just like, oh, it's just another thought. Let's go back to japa, back to the mantra. But this is so much so in all throughout our day as well. Are we keeping our mind on Krishna throughout the day when we're doing our service, when we're washing the pots, when we're sweeping the floor? when we're cooking, when we're doing laundry? Is it like in japa, or is our mind, wandering away and thinking about future thoughts, thinking about past things that have happened, thinking about things that are not Krishna related? The mantra meditation in the morning is just a preliminary to the rest of the day. Because when you find yourself in your service and getting lost in thought, if it's not lost in thought in Krishna's pastimes, you're losing the battle to the mind. You got to always be aware, be in the present moment with Krishna. Be here now with Krishna. Because the mind will find all kinds of reasons and tricks and schemes to try to distract you from the present moment that you're with Krishna. But it's up to you to make room for Krishna. I remember yesterday when we were out on Harinam, I found it kind of amusing. We're out on Harinam. We're singing the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And here's this, at first, a couple of the Prabhus were like, there's a preacher off in the background on a loudspeaker. Should we move? I'm like, no, we don't need to move. We just be louder. I mean, our message is more important. And eventually the preacher on the loudspeaker found somewhere else to go as we were continued to sing and play our instruments. But apparently when the preacher was over there on his loudspeaker, there was someone else there with him. There was this one girl that had this sign that's, recovering from a religion. So she was like out there protesting religious movements or something. And so that's another reason that the preacher left, because she was out there holding a sign. And so she sees us, and she comes over by us and holds up the sign all proud, recovering from religion. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I found that kind of amusing. Here we're chanting Hare Krishna, trying to attract people to God, and here's this person here that's trying to drive people away from religion. Wow. But she wasn't going to drive me away. I said, no, we just keep on chanting. We just keep on singing. So we kept on singing. She was holding it out in the hot sun, listening to her kirtan for about an hour and a half there. Even gave her some prasadam. She said, well, I'll take your banana cake if you take one of my pamphlets. I was like, yeah, that's a good trade. I'll do that. So I took one of her pamphlets. She took the banana cake. I said, we're out here every week. You should join us. She wasn't expecting that. She's out there to try to troll religious movements. She was hurt by some sort of religion in the past. Now she's trying to go out there and disturb those who are trying to spread God's message. So we'll see if she comes out next week. Chant with us. It's purifying each and every time she shows up. Should always have mercy on people like that, because it's the mind, as I was saying, that is our worst enemies. But through chanting of the Hare Krishna and keeping the mind on, Krishna's pastimes, training our mind to do that is how we turn our mind, become our best friend. Because when we first get into bhakti yoga, when we first get into devotional service, I've talked about this, and other Prabhus have talked about this, how in the beginning it's so hard in the beginning because the mind is so distracting. You know, you're trying to do your rounds, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What round am I on? I'm only on the third round. Hare Krishna. Oh, geez. I have how many more to go? Oh, I'd much rather be watching TV or, or eating food or doing something else, reading a book. But it's very bitter at first when it comes to devotional service because the mind is so used to material enjoyments, so used to that quick gratification up front, where the material world, where it's nectar up front in the material world, where you get a little bit of enjoyment, just enough to where you get a little bit of a taste and poof, it's gone. You have to find something else to do. You have to continue on. You have to strive so hard. You have to work so hard for the next bit of enjoyment. So you get the next bit of enjoyment and get a little bit of taste and poof, it's gone. And it keeps on doing this to you. You keep chasing after this in the material world. And so many get lost in this chase. But devotional service, because we're not getting the nectar up front. We're getting our mind rebelling against us, like, oh, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. I want to think about other things. I want to think about other stuff. It's very bitter. It seems like poison at first. But over time, as we purify the mind, as we train the mind to focus on the Maha Mantra, to be where which becomes in the natural state of when we come to a quiet mind, we could still hear the Maha Mantra going in the back of our mind. We could hear kirtan going on in our mind. We could be thinking of Krishna's pastimes when you come to this quiet state of mind. When you're falling asleep, when you're trying to fall asleep at night, do you hear the Maha Mantra at night? Do you hear kirtan in your head at night? Or are you thinking of Krishna's pastimes as you're falling asleep at night? In those quiet moments, that's when you know you're making progress. That's all about training the mind in Krishna consciousness. Because the more that you're purifying the mind, the more that you're training the mind to become Krishna conscious, the more that the nectar, that bitterness begins to go away. And the sweetness starts to rise. That nectar that you've been waiting for, that you've been striving for, begins to rise. And it's lasting. It's not going away. Just keeping up with your sadhana, keeping up with your rounds every day. It doesn't go away. It just grows stronger and grows sweeter. To where even sweeping the floor and washing dishes and doing mundane activities that once were just seemed annoying because you want to be somewhere else doing other things, all of a sudden you start becoming sweet. You start enjoying sweeping, you start enjoying cleaning, you start enjoying doing dishes, you start enjoying cooking, you start enjoying doing laundry. Start enjoying these things. Because you're doing it in Krishna's service. And the mind is no longer rebelling. The mind is becoming your best friend. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, I wanted to point out a few things that stood out to me as part of this. I loved what you said. You said, if not lost in thought of Krishna, then you're losing the battle against the mind. So, from the purport and the verse. So Prabhupada highlighted this point of forgetfulness, that he says actually we will act in such a way that we will make forgetfulness one of our allies. And many people in the material world are actually anxious about forgetting the wrong things. I know I struggle from that a lot. And we're saying, did I, as you mentioned, did I forget to do this? Did I forget to do that? So then actually you could, and there's a way in which the antithesis or the pair of forgetfulness is remembrance. So remembrance, we want to actually remember Krishna. And how do we remember Krishna? We remember Krishna by hearing and chanting. That's what makes the process of Krishna consciousness or the Sankirtan movement so amazing, is you do it together. And there's hearing and there's chanting. They go together. And as soon as we bring Krishna on the tongue, then Krishna is also on the ear. And it's stated that there's other amazing purports where Srila Prabhupada has emphasized that by this repeated hearing and chanting in association of sadhus, in association of devotees, satsanga, then we can actually become imbued with remembrance of Krishna. So the remembrance of Krishna brings about the simultaneous forgetfulness of all the miseries of material life, which are inevitable for anyone who's embodied. But what's amazing is that Prabhupada writes, they do not suffer. The sadhus do not suffer from material miseries. But he did not write, they do not experience, the cause of suffering of other living entities. What would normally be causing the normal living entities distress, it still actually is perceived by the sadhu, but he does not suffer. So this is the amazing potency of this devotional service, and absorption and exclusivity. If we exclusively hear and chant about Krishna, right, then constantly we make a, Prabhupada says in lecture, he says, you make a vow. Your tongue will only speak about Krishna, and your tongue will only taste Krishna prasadam. And so if we become a little disciplined about this one sense, the vacho, this one working sense to speak, then we always hear, at least from our own mouth, we always hear Krishna Katha. And if we all do it, then I only hear Krishna Katha also. So then what can happen is we become absorbed by force. And so you're mentioning an amazing point. Prabhupada would call this devotion, this Hare Krishna chanting, forced meditation, which means we make a sort of a determination to repeatedly chant, and I'm forced to be absorbed in Krishna because I'm constantly chanting about Krishna. So this is the amazing thing about sadhu sangha. And if we all decide, this is very, very important to me, I'll only speak about Krishna's service, and the most, it's like, say Krishna's service for one devotee. He's into this service. So he can talk all the details about that service, and it's Krishna conscious, it's not Maya. But for this devotee, he won't be able to not be in Maya, because it's not his service to think about such and such details. It's his service to think about Krishna's name and Krishna's form. And that's why the Leela and the Hare Krishna chanting is one of the most amazing things to share amongst ourselves, in addition to the philosophy of Gita, which helps us understand the Leela properly.
Oh, yes.
So, thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, so chanting the Maha Mantra, so purifying, keeping your mind on Krishna. The other pathway that life gives, that, the material world that, tries to sell you, is like, you can buy your happiness, you can chase after it. We see the results of this all the time, Well, you just take a look at some personalities that, have that's getting the best name, fame, wealth, prestige, and family. Look at the movie stars out there. Look at the not only the movie stars, but musicians out there that achieve success, great success. And what is the one thing that they all get caught up into? Drugs and alcohol. Because that success wasn't enough. That fame wasn't enough. Being surrounded by material opulence wasn't enough. They still weren't happy. They had to resort to drugs and alcohol. And so you hear these stories over and over again about these personalities that end up having to go into rehab. These rich personalities. Because they got caught up into drugs and alcohol because of all their fame. And you find out that they're just living miserably. It's like, the people say, oh, if I just win the lottery, I'll be happy. But the statistics are, those that have won the lottery, that won millions of dollars, most of them are bankrupt within 10 years. They spent all their money. And they're bankrupt. They would have, $10 million. They would have money for the rest of their life. But that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough to fulfill their senses. They spent it all. And they found themselves in bankruptcy. And back to 9-to-5 job again. You take a person like Robin Williams, a comedian, an actor, top of his field, for acting. Great comedy. He did a lot of voices. Did the voice for Aladdin. Brought a lot of joy and laughter to a lot of people. But behind the scenes, he was suffering from drug and alcohol addiction. He was doing cocaine behind the scenes. He was having to go through rehab behind the scenes. He had name, wealth, fame, prestige, family. And he was at the top of his field. He had everything. And in the end, he took his own life. His own life, because he did not find that happiness. That he was giving happiness to other people. He had all the money in the world to make himself happy. But he took his own life because he could not fill that void. That's something to think about. If great personalities like that can't make it with all the wealth and prestige and fame, and are found in misery still, fighting against their own mind, Hare Krishna, I don't know what's outside of Krishna consciousness that's going to save us. Any last minute questions or comments before we wrap up today? Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Besides Maharaj Ambrish, one other example that comes to my mind is Prahlad Maharaj. He was just a 5-year-old boy, but he was fully Krishna conscious. And even though he was born in an atheistic family, and his father was torturing him in so many ways, he was putting him in boiling. He was trying to boil his own son. Prahlad Maharaj was thrown off a cliff. He was trampled by elephants. He was poisoned. But still, in all conditions, Prahlad always remembered Krishna. But in Kali Yuga, it's very difficult for most of us to always remember Krishna.
Yes.
Because in Kali Yuga, our minds are always disturbed. So we have to always engage in some sort of service, and we have to daily hear Srimad Bhagavatam, hear Bhagavad Gita daily. And by hearing about Krishna, we're forced to remember Krishna by hearing others speak about Krishna. And as Magadar Prabhu said, chanting is also essential in Kali Yuga. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. So let us remember to pray to Gaurnitai, to pray to our Guru. Oh, do we have a comment here?
Mother Radhastali, if you wanted to give a comment, you can go ahead now.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I had this comment about remembrance and forgetfulness. I often forget also. And I just had this really interesting experience recently where I was at the dentist and they just had my mouth open so wide that I felt like they were going to bifurcate me. And then I thought about Bakasura and Krishna, and it was an interesting remembrance, and I was somewhat grateful for that. I just wanted to share that a little bit. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So yes, let's just remember to pray to Gaurnitai and to pray to our Guru for their mercy, that we may hunger and thirst each and every moment for Krishna. Hunger and thirst for Him. Because if we are hungry and thirsty for Krishna in each and every moment, we'll be thinking about Him and not about material desires. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.